unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. There are a lot of people out there who seem to want me to not see reality the way I see it, the way I perceive it. Oh no, it's not like that. It's not, that person isn't what you think. That thing is not what you think. Let me explain to you, because I've read a lot of books. Let me tell you exactly what's going on here. Let me lift the curtain. Let me give you a peek into how the human mind works. Oh, really? You're going to explain to me how the mind works? You, other human being. Because you've looked at the mind. Can you believe that these people, the audacity of somebody, you know? I don't care who you are. These are well-published people. Freud, all of them, every one of them, just the audacity to sit there and go, I understand the human mind. I've studied the human mind. No, you've wasted a lot of time pretending you know what other people think. You know? James Lindsay, Sam Harris, all these intellectuals. I'm an intellectual. I'm in my mind. I admit, I kind of used to be one of these people. In fact, I used to feel proud of myself that I would sit around thinking. Why don't you do something, Merkley? I am doing something. I'm thinking. Like it was some sort of amazing thing that I could think. As if a person that's shoveling a hole, digging a hole, isn't also thinking. The garbage man isn't also thinking. A plumber isn't also thinking. I used to think that I was somehow a better thinker than other people. And let me tell you, it's a vice. This imaginary world of thought, you know? There's something I recognize, though, about this when you watch these thinkers communicating, you know? And that's why it's really important to stop reading and get somebody on camera, at least, hopefully in front of your face, so you can see what their toes are doing. Is their foot tapping? What are their eyes doing? Because this is stuff that you know. Everybody knows it. The pigeons know it. Your cat knows it. Your dog knows it. Your dog really knows it. Your dog knows your body language. It knows when you're getting ready to leave before you do. Because it sees the subtle shifts in your posture. Oh, this is what he does when he's getting ready to go to the park. Anyway, with these intellectuals, I see it on their face, like Sam Harris. I remember the first time I saw Sam Harris, he was giving a talk that there is no free will. And he was making this case for it, you know, being an intellectual. And the thing that I noticed, I was like, that look on his face as he was talking, I thought, I know that look. That's the look of somebody making up utter bullshit. And they're kind of worried that somebody will figure it out. It's a look that I would see on Andy Kaufman's face. If you watch Andy Kaufman doing his routines where he's obviously lying and, you know, he's doing it as a gag or whatever, but there's this weird blinking and shifting, and it's kind of like checking for incoming punches. Like, is there a fist that's going to fly out of nowhere and hit me in the side of the head? It's that look. Sam Harris has it. James Lindsay has it. Almost all these intellectuals, when you get them on film talking about their whatever bullshit they think they know because they read a bunch of books or they thought about it a lot longer, they spent more time in their mind than you did, organizing words in a convincing way to basically convince you that reality isn't reality. Doubt your reality. Exchange. Put your reality aside. And let me tell you how things really are. You know? The audacity of people, that look on their face that you'll notice. Gosh, I guess here I'm using a video type of way of communication, and I'm not even using video. Maybe I'll have to cut it together, but it's just that blinking, searching side to side, and waiting for a fist to punch them. You'll notice it. We notice it inherently. Maybe we don't explain it perfectly, but that's why it's so important to interface with people in a room. Stop watching the edits. Stop reading the books, the squiggly lines, allowing the words to go into your mind and hypnotize you, capture your imagination where there's no accountability. There's no accountability in your mind, none. But when you're in that room with people and you can see that Elon Musk, bless his heart, doesn't have rhythm, that tells you, okay, this is a different kind of person. He doesn't have rhythm. He doesn't hear music like we do. That's important. I'm not saying this is good or bad, but this is a crucial information, to watch somebody. How confident are they? That's important. Anyway, back to the what brought this what brought this on was watching or listening to James Lindsay talking about, let me tell you what's really going on right now. Let me tell you what the communists do. I have this friend that does this too. Every time anything happens in the world, it's instead of shifting to what is happening and analyzing what we see with our own eyes going on, they try to pull back the curtain and into their expertise and go, let me explain what's really going on. Here's what's really happening. What you're seeing is not real. It's all orchestrated. It's all orchestrated. Let me tell you how the communists did it. Let me tell you how the Marxists do it. Let me tell you how the evil Sith worms do it. That's really what it's like. It's like these people are describing. I also recognize it from Dungeons and Dragons people. I had Dungeons and Dragons friends growing up, and I never liked the game. I thought it was stupid. You'd think I'd like it, because it's fun to play imaginary things, but I always thought it was dumb. I don't need a purple worm. I can have fun in my regular life. I don't need to imagine this creature with certain powers. Well, my creature has a thought power of 10 and a stinky power of 9. Okay, really? And they just go off and they start explaining how this world is so organized. There's no room for randomness or chaos. It's all meticulous. Everything you see is planned. These are the people that, if this person is allowed to rise to the ranks, then they are definitely the enemy, because if they weren't the enemy, they'd be squashed. There is no room for randomness. And this is kind of what this James Lindsay fella is trying to make it look like, that if you see a lot, it's almost like he's trying to explain why his posts aren't getting as many likes as he thinks they should. And I'm not saying there isn't monkey business going on in the algorithms. I think we all know this. You know this. I know this. We can see, well, let's just put it this way. The fact that the algorithms aren't disclosed in a transparent way should let you know that there's monkey business going on. Otherwise, they just tell you, this is what we're doing. This is how it works. But they keep it secret. So I'm in no way trying to say that algorithms aren't a thing. But on the other side of that, which is one of the reasons why I don't like posting my music that I make, is that, you sit there and all of a sudden you're obsessed with whether people like it or not. Am I getting enough likes? Am I being shadow banned? Yeah, maybe you are. But also, maybe people just don't like it. Or they have other things to do. They don't have time to sit there and listen to 3 minutes of your song. They don't want to. Or it's not hitting. They turn it off after 10 seconds because they don't like the first line. They don't like your stupid face. How about that? Now, I get it. I'm not trying to say that there aren't algorithms. I did notice that I made a song about you got to go to school to get that done. And I noticed a really sharp rise, a very organic rise in the amount of shares. Share. And, exponentially, if one person shares it with 5 people, and those people feel just as strongly as the first person that shared it, and they share it with 5 people, you can see this climbing rise, and you know that, oh, yeah, I hit a nerve here. This is good. And then to see it all just go up, and then stop. An artificial drop, not a slope, but just a drop. And I could see, oh yeah, I got fucked with. The robots or the powers that be decided they don't like my message. Somebody reported it as transphobic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there are algorithmic things that you can't control, right? And it is easy to spot those kinds of things. That kind of up, then off. That's not natural, right? We see those things. But that's what I'm trying to say is you can observe things with your own eyes. Your own experience matters. Look at it. Just look at it. What does it look like? Hey, I found this squirrel and he was limping. I don't know what's wrong with it. Well, observe it, watch it, think about it, compare it with your own life. Have you ever hurt your toe? Does it look like it hurt its toe? You can pull your experience out and look at the world with it. But these hucksters, these writers, these thinkers, these intellectuals, it's like there's this concerted effort for you to doubt your reality. I don't care how many books you read. Not a single book in the world comes even close to reality. It relies 100% on your imagination to do the work. As you're reading the squiggly lines, it goes into your brain, and you can imagine anything that is written. Anything that is written is imaginable. It just, because it's automatic. You read it, it's imaginary. You didn't witness it. It's secondhand. And yet most of your life is firsthand. Me watching the birds fly across the window right now. The squirrel waiting for me to give it peanuts. Firsthand. My dog right here. The sun coming in. Firsthand reality. It's not belief, it's knowledge. I know that it's morning. I know that the squirrel's here. But so many of these people want you to replace your reality with some imagined thing. It's not. It's not what you see. The squirrel is only there because it's allowed to be there by XYZ government. It's there to make you think that life is good. It's all propaganda. Well, maybe. But maybe there are organic movements. I feel like these people will tell you to deny any reality that you see. David Icke, another one of them. And almost all these guys are selling books. They're all selling books. And what is a book? It's an imaginary thing. It's a drug for your brain. That's what it is. People act like it's such a virtue to read. No, it's not. It's not a virtue. I'm here to tell you that it's not a virtue. Reading and giving your mind over to squiggly lines in a book with ideas that go into your brain and drive your brain. That's what it's doing. You're allowing somebody else to hijack and drive your brain. That's not a virtue. That's a vice. Okay? Virtue is taking in not your reality. Okay? Your experience. And trusting it. Trusting reality. You don't have to believe this bullshit from these authors, these writers, these artists, these charlatans that are trying to get you to perceive a reality that isn't yours. It's not yours. I read this thing the other day. Right? Somebody said, if you don't read, you only experience one life. But if you read books, you experience numerous lives. I was like, holy shit, that's a person that's like in a crack house. If you don't smoke crack, you only experience a dull life. If you smoke crack, you experience... Hey, it's actually a pretty good argument. If you don't smoke crack, you don't experience a crack life or a heroin life. But this idea that you actually experience somebody else's life because of what they wrote, and by the way, everything in that book, no matter how close you try, how hard you try to make truth or make reality, it doesn't come close. Doesn't even come close. Because I don't care how honest you want to be when you're writing. The act of writing is this editing process that doesn't allow for truth, because truth is reality. And reality is 360, and it encompasses all of your senses. It's not your imagination. It's outside of your imagination. Reality is amazing. Imagination is amazing too, that we can do it. And it's amazing in the imagination where you can get away with anything. Like I can imagine myself murdering 55 people right now. Nobody was harmed. There's no accountability in your imagination. But reality is 100% accountability. You can't float and fly without energy, fuel. Anyway, so yeah, just beware of those people that are trying to make you doubt your reality. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe me, let me tell you how things really work, because I read a bunch of books. I know how things have gone historically. Let me tell you about this thing that happened in 1778. Hundreds of years before any of us were born. Okay, or maybe not. Why? How about, can you relate this to my life right now? How about share with me an experience? I got this friend, I think he might be a former friend by now. I told you the guy that I suspect was a Fed that didn't get arrested for being in January 6th And because he turned over all of his photos to the feds immediately. I'm like, okay, so are you an asset? Anyway, he's one of these guys that reads. And if you have a conversation with him, he wants to pin everything to a book. Well, that's because it's this, and that's that, and this is this, and that's this, and this is Plato, and this is Socrates, and this is whatever. Yeah, can you tell me a story about what happened to you in your life that I can relate with? I swear, these historians and these intellectuals are always trying to, it's the credentialist kind of thing. I read this book, I studied this thing, therefore your reality isn't reality anymore. Let me tell you what reality is. Let me tell you about your reality. Fuck you. How about fuck you? You're not telling me about my reality. Go fuck yourself. And it's only that kind of person that does that. It's the artist, the intellectual class that does this shit. You're not going to have a transmission repairman try to tell you about don't believe. It's like, look, this is what happened. You see these metal shavings? It's because the gear got ground up and you don't have enough transmission fluid, buddy. You never checked it or it leaked out. This is reality. You know? Most of the world's trades are based in reality. If you build a building, you're dealing with reality. You got to stack the bricks the right way or they come crashing down. You know? Welding, that's reality. You got to have the right voltage. You got to have the right move to make that metal heat up the right way. And you got to use the mask. Otherwise, you're going to go blind. Reality. Plumbing, reality. Water, gravity. How to keep the poop flowing out of your house. But man, these intellectuals, there's just no end to it. There's just no end to the deception. And I think a lot of the problem is that they buy into it. They start to believe it. They start believing in their Dungeons and Dragons reality. Their non-reality. I'm a purple worm. I have a charm strength of 9. You know, intellectuals are useless people, okay? They're not good. They're not good. Academics, I don't care. I've been looking for so long trying to find the value, and I got wrapped up into it for many years. 2020 doesn't happen without these people, okay? The COVID hysteria doesn't happen without these people, these artists, these intellectuals, these writers, these reporters, these historians, these charlatans. Death counter. Tick, 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 tick. What's amazing is how much of the rest of the world, the people that do deal with reality, how they can be tricked by it. Tricked by the charlatans. I'm kind of doing what James does, but I'm just saying he's the one that's doing it. You know? He's the one that's doing it. He's the one that's saying, don't believe your eyes. It's the communists. It's the socialists. This is what they do. This is what they do. Let me tell you what they do. I want you to be as paranoid as I am. I want you to be checking left and checking. Keep your head on a swivel, as they say. Well, actually, my head is on a swivel. It's called my neck. I don't need to put my head on something besides my neck. And I don't need to walk around through life completely paranoid. I don't. It's one of those things. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I'm engaging in that kind of thing right now. You know, anytime you're trying to communicate your experience to somebody else, you're saying, "Let me drive your brain for a minute." So it's like I often ask myself, why can't I shut the fuck up? I'll do that right now. Thanks for listening.